Okay, so today was day, should be 27? 27 of my Chinese intensive course. We did not make that much progress today. We're still on lesson 19. I am 100% definitely not going to finish lesson 20 by the end of this week, which I've accepted. That's okay. That means, like, at the start of next week, we smash lesson 20, then I'm finished with the first book. Other than that, we did some HSK4. We did a lot of spoken Chinese because we were talking about like some of my other side projects and just something that we spoke about also was I spoke to this girl in the gym yesterday, and I found that I still struggle to understand exactly what she's saying sometimes. She also doesn't use what in Chinese they say 标准, which means like standard 普通话, which means standard Mandarin. So uh, for me, learning Chinese, being a Chinese learner, I need the Chinese that comes my way to be very standard. I need that to be like almost perfect standard Mandarin Chinese for me to understand it and then also reply to it. I can understand the message most of the time of what she says or what people say who don't use the standard Mandarin, but it still feels like it confuses me when I listen to somebody who's using a sentence that's not completely standard Mandarin. When they talk to me, I can understand what they mean, but they would use maybe a phrase that's a bit abnormal, still technically grammatically correct, but it's a bit abnormal to state a question in that way or something like that. So I've been talking to my Chinese teacher about this today because I've noticed this with this girl in the gym who's been using this sort of a non-standard, more I guess local sort of Chinese, and she says like, yeah, that is kind of normal. Most Chinese people have like their own the regional influences on the standard Mandarin, the regional influences on the Putonghua, the standard Mandarin, is still there. So there still are like it's still grammatically correct what they're saying. However, they would express the same idea in a different way than the locals of another province or city would express the same idea when they use standard Mandarin, when they use Putonghua, even though technically it's still grammatically correct. So she says, even like some Chinese people might just ask, like, say that again, what do you mean? Or like to clarify, stuff like that. So that made me feel a lot better. Today I also ran into that same girl again at the gym, and then I look like this because I just came from the gym. So she was also explaining to me, we were having a conversation, and she asked me in Chinese, she asked me like, do I understand everything she says? And then I told her like, I don't know, because what you're saying doesn't sound very like standard. It doesn't sound very standard Mandarin to me, like 不太标准, like not very standard. And then she said like, yeah, I'm like my Mandarin. My referring to herself. She said like, well, my Mandarin isn't that standard. She's like, yeah, I'm not exactly using like the standard Mandarin. She's from Shandong, so she was using, I guess. It's interesting to see that regional influences have what influence the regional language or the regional, the region has on the standard Mandarin. So that made me feel a lot better because then sometimes you feel like you're putting in all this effort and all this work, and then at the end of the day I cannot understand clearly what a Chinese person is saying to me, even though I understand the message of what they're saying. The words may be like in a different order, or they might use a different sort of phrasing than what I'm used to listening. I'm guessing with time that would just go away. The more I interact with more Chinese people from different regions and different backgrounds, I would get used to different ways of phrasing the same idea, the same concept. Um, I hope at least that is the case, because it felt more encouraging today, understanding that the problem of not fully understanding the sentence, even though I understood the message. So I understood the message the question she's asking, but she's asking it in a way that the words don't sound like the normal way of saying something, for me at least, the normal way I learned you express an idea. Um, so yeah, that felt good at least to understand that like that is normal. not just for me, but for Chinese people as well. You know, like some regions have different influences on the standard Mandarin, and you know that's okay, and it's okay to then also just ask, sorry, do you mean this? To just clarify something like that. Um, and yeah, that all of that felt pretty good. I Today is Saturday, so I don't have any homework, as per my deal with my Chinese teacher. I just have to do some flashcards, watch the movie again. So last night I watched the movie at 0.75 speed, which is the slowest I can watch it on the iQIYI platform, which iQIYI is like the Chinese sort of Netflix, I guess. Um, and it's a complete Chinese dub of the movie. And I found that it's actually a bit too slow. If I watch it at 0.75 times speed, it's a bit too slow. So yeah, but at least it was something different other than just watching it the same thing over and over and over again in the same way. So I'm thinking like maybe in the future I might increase the speed and then put it back to normal speed, see if that has any sort of influence on it. But tonight is just going to be a normal speed, watching it. Yeah, just absorbing some more. Some of the phrases in that movie I can just like quote off the top of my head just that easily, just because I've heard them quite literally 26 times. Yeah, other than that, things are still looking up, still looking good. Had new Wi-Fi installed today, so that's good. And going to finish this protein shake now. And yeah, that's the end of my day for today. Cheers.